What is up, people? How are we doing? Hopefully, everybody's doing much better than we are right now. As we're trying to get some things figured out, what's going on here. Um, yeah, it's just been fun all around.
Probably.
It's just been so fun all around. Hey, how you doing? It's your boy, it's the Birdman. We're back here on the Birdman Show. You already know what to do, so please do it with us. That is right. Yeah, looks like we're up and running. Everything's good to go. As far as that's concerned, except for I still have my door open. Okay. For the love of God, I swear to God, when it rains, it freaking pours. Like real talk. Like for the love of freak, this has just been a day. Um, I'm joined, of course, like always, Ace. I got Bama here, and we are also joined by the lovely Carrie, aka Def Light. Um, how's everybody doing? First of all, we'll start with you, Carrie. How are you doing?
I'm good. No gremlins over here. I want to know which one of you fed the electronic gremlins after midnight because this has been a hot mess for a couple of weeks now.
I know, right?
I'm blaming Bama.
Oh, damn.
I go with that.
JJ.
I'll definitely go with that. Yeah, it's been crazy. Like I said, the VMix. I think what I'm gonna do is this. Okay, I am gonna hold off on VMix. The reason why I'm gonna say that is because VMix is by far the platform we're definitely going to be using because it is a great platform. However, even though my brother and I made changes, what we did realize early on in that process is that I need to upgrade my video card. That is a huge issue. So what I'm going to do is between now and season 5 is I'm going to rebuild a tower that I have in the garage. Um, put a new video card in that, upgrade some other things, and then we should be good to go. But right now through vmix, it's just what I have right now with this laptop. It's just it is crazy because it's really just slightly under what I actually need right now. So that's what's really ticking me off about it because we're there. And I don't know if Carrie, I don't know if you got the chance to actually see some of the things we could actually do with that new studio in vmix. But it is Ace got a chance to look at it. It's freaking phenomenal.
It
Um,
is.
it honestly gives us everything that we need and want and more.
With the
So
ability to stream to TikTok
yeah,
without a
um,
fucking stream key.
yeah, without stream key and everything. So that's why I'm kind of more committed to making sure vmix works more than anything because it then pulls in all of our audiences. So we will get it. But I'm just putting the pump on the brakes on it until um I get all the other things done. Shut up, Angel. Yeah,
Roll Tide.
you shut up too. Um
Chomp, chomp.
but yeah, so we're I'm pulling the plug on it for right now. Well, not necessarily pulling the plug on it because I don't want to take a trip back to one of our other earlier episodes of You the Judge and try to pull a plug on something. And then next thing you know,
Right?
pass my wheelchair going down Broadway. Anyways, that being said, now that I
Hey,
got a
Amber.
chance to vent, first of all, I want to definitely thank everybody for sticking with us and just riding this roller coaster with us. Want to say what's up to Itzy, aka Amber, Angel, whatever. JJ, what's up, sis? Uh,
Normally I tell you to be nice, but then she had to go and say roll tide, and now I'm just like, man, you do what you got
That's
to
why I
do,
need
boo.
you to give me the okay for that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I wasn't worried about that. So, but anyways, definitely want to thank everybody for joining us. Like I said, we'll keep getting back to you guys as we go forward. I got a few other announcements we're gonna make later in the show. But yes, we're gonna keep rolling. Um, so we had a last minute change. For those who may have been gearing to tune into the episode that what did I entitle? I
Death of
entitled it "Death of
Innocence.
Innocence," Abby and Libby's story or case. But Britt was not going to be able to join us. She's having some health issues. We want to make sure she gets taken care of, and she's healthy. That's by far the most important thing. So what I decided to do, I made a last minute issue or last minute change. Oh crap! It's still on freaking.
Yeah, it
Oh,
is.
I'll go back and change it later. Um, I have to go back and change it later. Well, that's the one thing I didn't change because we're going to be on freaking, and now all that stuff's changed on there, but it's not changed. Okay. Anyways, I'll go back and change it. But we were supposed to be doing that episode, but like I said, we want to make sure she's healthy. So instead of just doing another episode where we're kind of trying to fumble through it, uh, we decided,
We're gonna be
uh,
fumbling through this.
yeah. But first of all, it's your fault because you messaged me and say, hey, yes, I know that's what it says. Hey, is everything okay? Da da da. And you're like, we can do it. You be the judge. So I was like, you know what? Since you offered, we'll do it.
Uh, oh no, that's not how that conversation went, but we can discuss that at a later time. You called
Well,
me
that's
an
how the
hour
conversation went in
before
my
this was
mind and how
supposed
I
to
just presented it.
start
So
and be like, "Hey, I'm in a bind. I need your help."
well, I'm talking about that was before when you messaged me asking about that. When we talked afterwards, when we talked on the phone, I said, yeah, now we're in a bind. I'm pulling play. Let's just do it. You be the judge. That way, we can double back to that episode and whatever.
I was going to say because he told me at 4:30. So hey, Carrie said that if we needed her, that she'd do it. You be the judge. So you realize that's going to be 2 in a row, right?
And
It's
I was
like
like, I don't care.
she offered. I'm
Yeah,
taking
like
her up on it.
I was expected, more than an hour's notice, but it's fine.
Oh, you've
Hey,
had less
Move
time than that
on.
before.
Have I? No.
Yes, we had one where you had to jump in, like literally last minute. I think it was
well, she jumped in. She jumped in with somebody else. I believe it was with
Hunter. Was that his
Hunter.
name?
Yes, she jumped in with Hunter because she had information on that episode as well.
Yeah, I had
so
3
yes,
hours for that one though.
yeah. Anyways,
'Cause I actually
whatever.
had to do research.
Whatever. Whatever. Stop bringing up old stuff. Anyways,
You.
okay, moving right along. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We are now doing an episode of You Be the Judge. Um, and as Carrie gonna starts walking us through this, I'm gonna see if I can go online and change the actual title of this episode. While we're doing this, so
So if we
left, right,
magically
Carrie.
disappear from YouTube, we know it's Birdman's fault.
We're not gonna disappear. I just work with me here.
Yeah.
Did you get them wet?
Get
They
What?
multiplied.
what?
Gremlins.
Oh.
So Seth?
I was looking at the freaking chat like, what the fuck are we talking about? Sweet Jesus.
Wow.
What in the holy grail?
Dude, like he's commenting on something that had happened like 15 minutes ago, and that just threw me the fuck off.
You? I was like, what? Did you get him? What? Oh my jeebus. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, I'm gonna have to change all of this. Okay. Yeah, go yeah. Okay, so Carrie, why don't you kind of give us a little
Don't ask me to give you a little preview because I don't have a clue in hell. I just
411, what's
picked
going on
one.
here? Just 411, just a general outline real quick, what the title is and what the heck is going on.
All right, so welcome to You Be the Judge. I just picked one of these at random since we are running a little behind due to the gremlins that Bama fed after midnight. This episode is called One Bullet Pierces Two Hearts, the state versus Roy Cartwright. And that's all I know. I have no idea what this is actually about. I have no idea what the charges are. Not a clue. I just, yep.
All right. That's okay. Let's go. Let's go. We can do this. We can do this.
You're pointing the wrong way.
No, I'm not. I'm pointing at the chat.
Oh, I can't see the chat over there.
JJ said, you know, he does that on purpose, right?
What, the gremlins or
The squirrel in your asses.
oh,
Okay.
this is
Well, the
true.
title's
That
changed,
was
so
quick
I don't
wit.
know if it's gonna pop up now while we're doing this, but it'll be whatever. We should be good to go. Okay. Continue.
That's all I got.
Oh, okay. Well, then let's
I'm
get into
trying to
it.
see I'm trying to see what he's
Yeah,
charged
I
with
wasn't
real
talking
quick.
about tea bags.
Okay. Yeah. Well, update. Title's changed. Um, if you're in here now, if you're already in here watching, it's still going to say Unit 731, but it's actually changed, so we're good to go as far as that.
Absolutely, Amber. When isn't an episode of You Be the Judge crazy?
It's going to be crazy.
This is a different
Bear with us,
kind of
people.
crazy. Thank you. Normally, I am the cause of chaos. This time, it's all Birdman. Yep, I said it. Okay, so the charges are guilty of first-degree murder, second-degree murder, voluntary manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter, or not guilty. All right,
Holy hell. Okay.
those
I'm
are
sorry.
our options.
I'm sorry. Do that. Say that again. What was it again?
First degree, second degree,
Manslaughter,
manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter,
And what?
voluntary manslaughter,
Did you say that twice?
not guilty.
welcome to the shit show, folks.
Uh,
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Message
let's
me.
roll with it.
Yeah, let's roll with it.
All right. Roy Cartwright, 52, was romantically involved with Marlene Ransom, a 25-year his junior. Almost every day, Roy would visit Marlene at her cottage and they would smoke and sip whiskey together, watch TV, and sometimes make love. Roy asked Marlene to marry him, but she was not yet divorced from her estranged husband, so they had to put off the wedding plans. Marty Hogan, 33, was Roy's best friend, but trouble started when Roy introduced Martin to Marlene. Martin and Marlene were attracted to each other, so Martin began visiting Marlene. Oh, this is going to be a love triangle. Okay. One day, Roy
You should have known it was going to be a love triangle from the title.
well, it could have been anything. One day, Roy bought a 7mm rifle for the purpose, so he claimed, of going deer hunting, although he had never hunted a deer before in his life. And deer season was still 3 months away, so he's getting ready for deer season. 5 days later, Roy was visiting with Marlene when Martin dropped by to see her. While Martin and Marlene were talking, Roy said he wanted to show them his new rifle. What's in the box? He went out to the trunk of his car, retrieved his rifle, and came back inside. Martin and Marlene were standing near each other at the other side of the room. When Roy unwrapped the rifle, a shot went off. The bullet went through Marlene's heart, out of her back, and through Martin's heart, out of his back, and through the wall behind them. That sounds like a really close shot. Um,
Well, it's a
Marlene and
7mm
Martin.
rifle.
Mhm.
It's going to have some kick.
Well, yeah, it's for deer hunting. Oops.
Yeah.
He got what he was hunting. I'm just saying. Marlene and Martin were killed instantly by the same bullet. From the location of the entry and exit wounds and the position of the bodies, it was obvious that Marlene was standing directly in front of Martin when the shot was fired. Roy went home, wrote a suicide note that said he was sorry, placed the end of the rifle barrel in his mouth, and pulled the trigger. The bullet ricocheted off his palate and tore through his cheek, and he survived to be prosecuted for double murder. Holy shit. Who is Thin Crust's love? Okay, y'all, calm down. We ain't even got into the story yet. Even Angel's all up in it. uh, Roy
God
claimed
dang.
he did not mean to kill his two best friends and that
Angry elf.
he was holding the gun when it fired accidentally. Was the shooting accidental or intentional? If it was intentional, whom did Roy intend to kill? Martin, Marlene, or both? District Attorney Allen, I'm just leaving it at that, um, uses your curiosity in his opening statement when he says that this is the most bizarre murder he's ever prosecuted. One bullet, he says, as pauses as his deep set eyes fix on you with a penetrating stare. One bullet and it pierced the hearts of two innocent persons, Marlene and Martin, and left them dead. We will prove that this man, Roy, it jumped ahead, sorry, fired the shot and did so with premeditated and deliberate intent to kill them both. Alan seems satisfied that he has impressed you. He yields the podium to Donald Ryder, a small, I hate this, the small bouncy man who is the attorney for the defense.
Wait.
So he
We're not
was
just gonna speed. We're not gonna speed past that and act like you didn't say that.
he
Small
he's
bouncy
Listen,
man.
rotund. He's
listen,
rotund.
listen. Yes, he's when I do these, I edit out the stupid descriptions, okay? That way I don't we don't have to squirrel on stupid shit.
Well, ma'am, now that you've done it, I'm gonna tell you right now. You're gonna leave that
Quit.
crap in because I want to know. This is information I need to know.
He's a small bouncy man. That's what it
So what?
says.
So what are you like in the Nutty Professor? Was you like the flubber or something?
I
What's
mean,
going
kind
on
of,
here?
why not?
So
But
I have
think
so many questions.
short, I guess. Like maybe he's a
So
little
it's like the
short.
penguin.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh
Let's
Lord
go with
Jesus.
the penguin.
All right.
Now,
Okay.
now
Okay.
that could be taken two different ways. He could either be a short, rotund man, or he could just be like skipping up to
Gentlemen, gentlemen,
the what?
we are squirreling on the wrong topic of conversation.
Okay.
Well, maybe not. I don't know. But maybe we're not squirreling on the wrong
Okay,
topic.
Donald. Oh God,
Duck.
now I'm picturing him like Donald Duck. I mean, what?
You're welcome.
Sweet Jesus, we're never getting through this episode tonight. All right. Donald is obviously incensed at the DA's statement and states sharply in his opening Roy Cartwright never intended any harm. This was an accident, pure and simple. He is a gentle, law abiding man, and he has already suffered far beyond what most human beings are ever called upon to experience. Roy's grief will burden him for the remainder of his life. You look at the defendant who sits motionless, staring straight ahead, stocky, balding, humorless looking man in his 50s. And why was this accident so tragic? Ryder continues. Because that bullet caused the death of Roy's two best friends. The judge will tell you that it's not a crime if a shooting. What? The judge will tell you that it's not a crime if a shooting is the result of an accident. Objection, Alan jumps up from his seat. He's instructing the jury that's your honor's job. Sustained, the judge turns to the jury and looks over his spectacles. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I wish to instruct you that what counsel says in their opening statements is not evidence, is not can be to be considered evidence. Do you hear that, audience? All y'all out there shouting guilty and not guilty and all that. We ain't even in it yet. That's why
Then,
y'all.
then, hey, Thin Crust is requesting a time frame on this incident.
Ah,
D-
July 7th, 2005.
There you go, Thin Crust.
I actually, that was on the next page.
Oh.
Normally that doesn't happen.
Well, there you go.
The only evidence will come from the witness stand or by a stipulation of counsel, and I will instruct you on the law. No one else will do that. Proceed, counsel. The first witness for the prosecution is a grizzly looking man in his 70s, Frank Kiersey. He testifies that he is the caretaker of Family Cottages, a residential complex of about 20 studio cottages where Marlene had lived for the last 7 years. On the morning of July 7th, 2005, he was making his rounds when he heard a sharp bang. As he neared the rear of the cottage number 9, he heard the sound of running water. He went toward the sound and noticed that the water pipe, about 4 feet high behind cottage 9, had sprung a leak and water was pouring out of the hole in the pipe. Then he noticed a hole in the back wall of cottage 9, about the same height as the pipe. He heard what he thought was a low moan inside the cottage. And did you investigate further? The DA asked. And he responds, I figured something was up. I knew Marlene was inside since her car was still there. So I went around to the front. Tell the jury what you saw. The door was ajar. I called for Marlene, but there was no answer. I peeked in, and oh my God. Just take it easy and tell us what you saw. He responds, it was the most horrible sight. There was Marlene and this guy lying together on the floor in a puddle of blood. I took one look and figured they were dead. I got out of there and called the cops. And he asked, you know the defendant Roy Cartwright? And he said, sure, I've seen him around there a lot. And he asked, did you see him there that morning? And he said, I've seen his car leave earlier, but I didn't think. That's all, thank you. Ryder begins his cross examination. So Donald Duck is up to bat. Y'all have nobody to blame but yourself for that one.
How do you figure?
Because I'm the one that gave her the bouncing towards the fucking
Yeah, I did say
podium.
no.
Yep.
I originally said penguin.
No,
You
Donald
did.
Duck makes so much more sense.
Oh, there you go.
'Cause his name is Donald,
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah.
and he was Donald ducking his way up to the podium. Anyway,
Donald ducking his way to the podium.
You know that robust, no bouncy
bouncy,
walk.
the bouncy walk.
I can picture it. Yeah,
I know that's how you that's
I
how
can
he's going to
definitely
be
picture it.
known as the rest of the episode. Okay, so Donald Duck says in his cross examination, have you any reason to think Roy here would shoot Marlene? And he responds, who? Him? Nah, he loved her. He was tender like to her. He'd never do anything like that, not unless it was an accident. And Donald says, you're around cottage number 9 many times when Roy was visiting her. He said, sure, lots of times. Ever hear Roy and Marlene argue? Never. Ever hear Roy act hostile to anyone? No, never. The next witness is a police officer. Really? We're just going to call, okay. Guy. I'm just gonna, Guy. That's
Whoa,
his.
ma'am. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, ma'am. This
We need all the evidence.
you know what we're gonna call this episode Birdman Show, You Be the Judge, Raw Edition. Okay. So whatever you're reading, you're gonna read it out to everybody. All right. We going it's the Raw Edition, okay? Birdman After Dark. Let's do this.
Yeah, we're just gonna go out there and raw dog it then. All right, cool.
Hey.
Officer
Man.
Rob.
Rob.
Guy Rob. Like robbing a
What's his real
store.
name?
Officer. That's not his real name. These are all made up names. They changed
What's
all
the
the
made up
names.
name?
That is the name.
Rob, just
Guy
Rob?
Rob.
Guy Rob.
Guy Rob. Officer Rob.
Oh. That's
So-
okay. That's stupid. Anyways, go ahead.
Wow.
That's why I said. The
That was
first
something
officer on the scene, he testifies the first thing he did was check for a pulse and heartbeat of Marlene and Martin, and he found that they were both dead. Blood was still coming out of both of their chests. Their bodies lay on the floor together. Martin Martin's head propped against the back wall. Both lay on their backs, eyes open. Marlene's body lay partially on top of Martin's. Both were still warm to the touch. So he got there like pretty soon after the fact if the blood was still actively coming out. He turned the bodies over and saw blood oozing from their backs, which you don't do that. That's not how that works.
Roll
But
Tide.
What the?
The fuck?
do you have Tourette's tonight?
Okay, first of all, there's a lot of things going on here. All right. There's a lot of things going on here. All right. Number one, Carrie's read the story for us. Shane obviously has threats. That involves
the
everything
fucked up
Bama.
part of it is Carrie gets to the point where he rolls them over and blood is oozing out of their back. Roll Tide.
So you say roll Tide.
What
I
the
was
fuck?
actually in the midst of reading comments because I'm trying to catch up with everything after I had to do all this other stuff, and I come across this one. Actually, that's probably a poor choice of words.
You're right.
What are you talking? What? Okay, what was this about again? What a wet, nasty.
I think she put that one in there whenever he was going around to check inside the cabin.
I'm gonna need somebody.
There you go, thin crust.
Yeah, that's basically you're right. That's basically what happened there with Shane. Okay, it's all good.
Shit.
Okay. Jesus, Mary Mother Joseph. Okay, so okay. Please continue after you sip your tea or coffee, whatever you're drinking.
It's not strong enough for this episode. It's just
God.
water.
Oh, it's just water.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to step your game up, please.
Jesus, if we keep this up, I might need to. Okay. He turned the bodies over and saw blood oozing from their backs. No Tourette outburst. Okay.
I'll help him out.
Roll Tide.
Oh, sweet mother of God. He looked about the room for evidence. On the back wall above the bodies, 49 inches from the door, he noticed a hole that indicated that a bullet had passed through the wall. He searched the room for any empty shells.
Shell casings.
Yeah, I can't say that word right now.
But
None were found.
Okay.
On the bed near the front door, he found a large piece of wrapping paper from a gun store. Officer Robb further testifies that after the bodies were removed, he searched outside the cottage for the expended bullet or bullets. He was still not sure how many shots had been fired. He saw the hole in the water pipe and then saw another hole in the wall of the cottage next door about 10 feet from number 9, also about the same height as the other holes. That's a lot of damn holes.
Wait, first, did it ever? Maybe I missed it, but did it say what type of gun and caliber of round?
7mm rifle.
I'm sorry, say it again.
7mm rifle.
7mm, really? Okay. I mean, cool. All right.
He went inside the cottage next door after receiving permission from the frightened occupants, and on the floor of the kitchen, he found what he was looking for: a spent rifle bullet. Everybody caught up so far?
Sure.
Tourette's, you got anything?
Roll Tide.
Maybe if I give him a break to put it in there, it won't be the most awkward freaking times. I don't know. It just said 7mm rifle. I don't know what grain it was. It doesn't go into that kind of detail.
Yeah. See, so the 7mm one. See, I can't really see that. Is it the last one? It's the last one, right?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, that's what I thought. I mean, yeah. I mean,
You'd have to have a pretty big
a
bullet for
Mauser?
deer hunting.
Well, I
They might
mean,
need something a little bit bigger than a mouser. I mean, at least
yeah.
go with
I
a
mean, the thing
catter
is,
or a dogger. I mean, fuck.
deer, you if you know what you're doing, if you're you know, depends, especially if you're a good shot. I'm not gonna say you need a pretty big round,
This was his
because you know where to
first
hit them.
time deer hunting, so
Well, that's
he
what
would
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like I said, you may not necessarily need that big a round. Now, this being a first time deer hunter, I, yeah, let's use hunting elk or moose. Yeah, I mean, okay, but I don't think he was hunting that type of deer. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, okay, this is okay. This is wild. All right, okay, cool. Okay,
this is
so
wild. This is calm.
no, I'm just thinking about all the freaking different. Yeah, I
All
mean,
right.
yes,
Prosecution
I
then
agree with you.
calls,
Bro.
huh?
I was looking at Thin Crust's comment. Yes, that's what I was thinking too. That 7 millimeter is something you would more like use for a
The
moose or like hunting bear, something big like a virgin. What the
the middle one is 5.56, and the last one was the 7 millimeter.
yeah,
Oh,
5.56 is
yeah,
what we use in the
that's way too
military.
big. Way too big.
Yeah, 5.56 is what we use in the military.
Okay,
Um,
Madonna.
I don't
so
know. I think she's got turrets like turret. Oh my god, like
to
Bama.
read,
I give up. I give up. Just anyway.
you're starting to
Um,
sound like a Tasmanian devil.
The prosecu the prosecution then calls Emily Masterson. She's a timid woman about 30 years old, and she raises her hand to take the oath. You can tell she is reluctant to testify. When she gets to the witness stand, she stops and asks, Your Honor, do I have to testify? The judge responds, We just want the truth.
Mm,
She responds, I don't want to testify unless you order me to, Your Honor. Well, Jesus, okay. The judge responds, Then I will have to order it. Miss Masterson testifies that she is Cartwright's only child from his former marriage, and this is Roy, the murderer,
The shooter.
mhm,
the alleged murderer.
mhm, mhm,
Um,
That's why I said the shooter.
mhm.
alleged
Innocent until I presumed innocent until I'm guilty.
um testifies she is Cartwright's only child from his former marriage. He's been living with her and her daughter, his granddaughter, at the time of the shooting. She had wanted him to end the relationship with Marlene because she knew Marlene had been unfaithful to him. Yet her father was obsessed with Marlene and insisted he was going to marry her. On the morning of the shooting, Miss Masterson was in the kitchen of her home about 2 miles away from the cottages when she heard a loud bang and a cry of pain from her father's room. She rushed in to find him laying on his bed holding the rifle in his hands, the muzzle up against his face, one side of his face covered with blood. He could not talk, but she realized he had tried to kill himself. She called an ambulance and he was taken to the hospital after leaving him at the hospital with the doctor's assurance that he was out of danger. She returned home and found a note on his bed. And they asked, Well, what is this the note? And she said, Yes. And do you recognize the handwriting? And she said, Yes, it's dad's. And he said, Please read it to the jury. Miss Masterson is close to tears as she reads the note. Marlene is dead. Please take care of my body. What about
Does it?
the the other guy you killed?
You don't care
That
about
was your
him.
best friend.
You don't care about him. Obviously, his best friend broke the gold rule of bros before hoes.
Well, that's a giant red flag. Okay. Miss Masterson also identifies the rifle that the DA shows to her as the rifle she took from her father after he shot himself. Donald Duck comes up and only he says, "I only have a few questions." You know your father better than anyone. What is his reputation? Objection, Your Honor. The question is vague. Reputation for what? The judge says sustained. Duck says, I'll rephrase it. Your Honor, Mrs. Masterson, Was your father's reputation for being a law-abiding citizen? And she responds, he was never in any trouble in his whole life. Quiet, respects the law. He has a good reputation for being decent in every way. And Duck responds, what is his reputation for being nonviolent and peaceful? And she says he's never hurt anyone. She's about to leave the stand when the DA remembers something else. He approaches her with a small envelope and places it on the witness stand before her. Would you open that, please? She takes out a small metal object. And the DA says, do you recognize what that is? She looks at it and nods her head. Yes, it looks like what I found in my father's pocket after he shot himself.
Mm.
And he holds it up for all to see. Looks like an empty casing of a bullet, doesn't it? I believe so, yes. Thank you, that's all. So he policed his brass
Mm.
before he ran off.
Mm.
Well, now technically he wouldn't have had to, because if the gun went off by accident, then he wouldn't have had to have chambered another round. He could have chambered another round whenever he got home and tried to kill himself or tried to shoot
Wouldn't
himself.
it, if it's semi-automatic, it automatically ejects it so we can load up the next one.
It's a
Bolt
rifle.
action.
But I was about to say in the rifle bolt action.
I don't know. I don't know rifles. I know
Oh.
handguns.
A rifle is bolt action.
Which means he would have had to cock
All
it
of
back.
them are.
They don't have
Maybe
semi-automatic.
rifles. Most of them, yes. I mean, you
Okay.
can get
For
you
hunting
get an
deer,
automatic rifle, hunting rifle.
For
Yes,
a round
you
that big.
it,
For a
it,
round
it would
that
have
big,
to
it
be a
would have been
bolt
bolt
action
action.
rifle.
yeah.
Okay.
So he didn't necessarily police his brass before he left the scene.
Mm. I'm very intrigued. So here's what we're gonna do. Let's take a quick commercial break. When we get back, we're
I'm
gonna
not
get
sure that it did then.
It never
Yeah.
said specifically.
Yes, definitely. Thing for us, rifle can be bolt or semi, even for hunting. Yes, which is 100% true. So unless we have that unless that information is actually in there, I really don't know. I would
Yeah.
have to assume if they said they found a round there or whatever, or the
Oh,
police is around. Oh,
stay tuned after these messages from this commercial break.
okay. So I guess that. Well, I guess I just got fired from my job. We'll be right back.
The fuck?
Wow, that just wow. Okay, we'll be back if it plays. There we go.
Yep. Drop. Gotcha. How we doing, everybody? This commercial is brought to you by Dubby Energy Drinks. Dubby is an energy drink that you mix at home. Dubby is formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or no crash. So, their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, and neurotropics, including the patented neurofactor. There are no calories, no sugars, no fillers, and no artificial colors. So if you need something to give you the energy to take on the world, Dubby is what you need. Go to dubby.gg, that's DUBBY.GG, to get yours today. Hey, as a special bonus to our followers, if you enter the promo code the Birdman, just Birdman Show, you will get 10% off of your first order. Hey, tell them the Birdman sent you.
Like a wounded duck.
Yo, what is up, everybody? How you doing?
I
This
just
is
shot
Birdman.
Donald Duck.
We're here on the Birdman Show. You already know what to do, so why don't you go ahead and do it with us? That's right. No wounded ducks around here. Just on that commercial. But yeah,
Yeah.
it is what it is. I love playing that one. It's awesome.
I know
Good
you
stuff.
do. You're
All
He does it
right, we're
just
back
to
here on the
fuck
Birdman
with you.
Show. Of course, I'm joined with Ace, Bama, Carrie, aka Deathlight. We are doing an You'll Be the Judge episode. So like I said, for those who joined us late, we had some issues early on. Jumped back to our other platform. We're rocking and rolling, moving forward with this case, which is a mild case, but still full of questions. We've got Disney characters. We got all kind of people in this case that's going on here. That's just it's wild, but it is what it is. Ace, how you holding up there, bud?
I am fan fucking tastic.
Okay, still aggressive. All right, cool.
Always aggressive.
yeah. Okay, cool. Bama, what's up, man? I haven't heard much from you. How you doing?
Roll Tide.
Say something else.
Okay, I don't think that's gonna
Come
happen.
on. You can do it. I know you can do it.
I don't think it's gonna happen. It's all good though. I mean, do what you do. You know, it's all good. I ain't mad at
Oh
you.
yeah, and we've got a guy named Guy.
We got a guy named Guy. What?
Guy Rob.
Oh yeah, Guy Rock. What?
Officer
Oh,
Rob. Sweet Jesus.
Oh yeah, Guy Rob. What? Are you
What?
that fucking
Wait,
lost?
what?
Yes.
I'm looking in the comments. Like, wait, what? Oh, okay, cool. Anyway, Carrie, how are you doing?
I'm going to need a drink or a shot or a Xanax or something after this episode.
All the above. Mix and match. Okay, do like a old Sonic brown bag specialist. All right, so let's let's dive back into this episode of You Be the Judge. Okay, so Carrie, before we took the break, you had an aha moment. So I am very interested to find out exactly what that was.
Well, I got two kind of aha moments.
Oh, we got an aha
One,
moment plus a bonus.
so I'm going to share my screen. So are you ready?
Oh, okay, well, I am ready now. I think
I think. Which one is the okay?
possibly. Okay, here we go.
Angel was right.
Bold action.
It's a mouser.
Oh,
Okay.
Now I don't know if
yeah.
it's this exact model because apparently there's a few different models, but it says that it's a mouser or however you say it.
Mauser.
Sure.
Wowzers.
It's a German Mauser.
Yeah.
So Angel was right.
Yeah. So
That is not a deer rifle.
no.
No.
I mean, not typical. I'll say not typically.
Well, if he went into a fucking gun store and told the clerk that I need a gun for deer hunting, they would not have suggested this gun to him.
yeah. Like I said, I mean, unless you decided, if he got confused that deer and moose or caribou,
Or
or grizzly
elephants.
bears, were a little different than what he was actually trying to hunt. I mean, like I said, we keep saying deer as in the four-legged creature, but I mean, wives,
I
girlfriends
mean,
can also
they
deer quite a bit.
DEAR.
So yeah,
Okay.
interesting.
Um. So the next witness is Jason Wilkes, a young clerk from Crane's gun shop. He testifies that he sold the Mauser 7mm rifle to a man on July 2nd, 2005. He identifies the same rifle that Mrs. Masterson identified as the one he sold. He also identifies a purchase slip for the rifle of $156.22. That seems really cheap.
That is cheap.
But he cannot be sure the defendant is the man who bought the rifle. But Roy Cartwright looks similar to the person. He remembers the purchaser was unfamiliar with rifles and had to be shown how to load one. And he also identified the wrapping paper that Officer Rob found on the bed as the paper he used to wrap the rifle.
Okay.
Okay.
We're getting somewhere.
The last witness for the prosecution is Dr. David Featherman.
Dr.
Donald
David
Duck.
Featherman. Donald
David
Duck.
Donald Duck with Dr. Featherman.
Hmm.
Maybe he was
Okay.
duck hunting. Anyway, um,
Maybe.
autopsy surgeon. He examined the bodies for cause of death and found that each had died from a bullet wound to the heart and chest and heart. Was it the same bullet? The DA asked, and then for Donald Duck said objection beyond his expertise. That's that's exactly his expertise. He does autopsies.
Well, the thing of it is, though, is the bullet went through their body. There's no way for him to be able to identify that that bullet is the one that went through them.
No, but he could identify if it was the same millimeter.
Diameter.
Yeah. He can say with some certainty. It's not like he's taking a wild guess.
I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. If it's the same bullet, it's for the
Yeah,
most
but
part gonna like man. That'd have to be one heck of a shot to not hit any bone because with the contact on that, there'd be some serious.
we got to teach you how to screen share, sir.
Well, he can't screen share from his phone.
But he can from his computer if he's looking it up.
He's on his computer. He was holding his phone up.
I know that's
Right.
what I'm saying. But
Okay, continue.
but yeah, I mean, like I said, and that has to be one heck of a shot because as a bullet hits into something, especially if it hits bone, it tends to redirect. Like once again, it depends on the caliber, depends on the rifle.
It depends on how close the
At that
range is.
close of range,
Yes.
then a lot of those variables kind of change.
Yes.
So I mean that could just factor in the fact that they were so close that it had maximum velocity. So we could have just shattered the bones inside him. I don't know. And I guess hopefully we'll find out if they say anything about it during the autopsy. So continue.
I mean, they said it was a studio apartment. Those are small.
True. Did they okay? Did they say how does it ever say how close in proximity the rifle was to the victims when it went off?
I think it said how far away, like wall to wall, but I don't think it's gone into that yet.
Okay. All right. Continue.
Continue.
Carry on, Carrie.
Well, hang on. I got to find my damn spot.
Go find your spot.
Oh, it does go into that. Okay.
Oh, goody.
That- Where the hell was I? Ah, there we go.
No. Okay.
Somewhere on the crazy train.
Objection beyond his expertise. The judge says sustained. That's for the jury to decide, but the judge allows the doctor to describe the path and position of the bullet that entered and exited each body, based on his examination of the entry and exit wounds. The doctor testifies that the bullet that killed Marlene entered her body on a path at a right angle to her body, and the position of the bullet at entry was also perpendicular to her body. The point of entry measured 48 inches from her toes. He explains that the bullet exited her back slightly higher where it was at entry. Upon exiting, the missile changed course because of obstacles encountered while passing through her body, moving a little upward and slightly sideways, so it hit bone.
Okay. That's what I figured.
The doctor explains that when the bullet entered Martin's body, it was not traveling straight as it was in Marlene's case, but rather in the same tumbling motion it exhibited when it exited Ransom's back. This tumbling and rolling forward over and over upon entry into Hogan's chest indicated the bullet had struck something else before reaching that point. Further, the height of her exit wound and his entry wound were almost precisely the same, about 49 inches. And the DA asked, can you tell us, doctor, the position of the bodies at the time the shot was fired? That is, how close were they to each other? And Featherman responds, I can make a very good guess. Donald Duck, objection. The judge sustained it. No guessing here. And I can hear it in his voice and everything. The quacky. Thank you so much, Ace, for that.
You're welcome.
The judge says sustained, no guessing here. And then the DA says, well, then, doctor, can you at least tell us if the two victims were seated or standing or even lying down when the shots were fired? And then Duck responds, objection, he was not there. Sustained. The DA sits down, apparently exasperated by the judge's ruling. That's stupid because you can tell from forensics if somebody is standing, sitting, laying
Yeah.
down, doing the hokey pokey. Maybe it's because it's
I don't know
not.
about the hokey pokey.
I mean, they were
Unless you're
turning
talking
it all
about
about.
Unless you're talking about the hokey pokey.
God only knows.
Well, and the defendant.
Your witness, counsel. He says to Donald Duck, who remains silent for a few seconds before beginning cross-examination. Donald Duck, on the basis of all your training and expertise, doctor, are you able to tell this jury if the shot or shots were fired intentionally or accidentally? There's a long pause, and Featherman responds, I cannot say that, no. The Duck wants to know if there was any sign of a struggle, and Featherman says, none that I could observe. When the doctor leaves the stand, the DA announces he has no further witnesses and the prosecution rests. Donald Duck opens the defense case with a number of witnesses who testify to Roy Cartwright's good reputation for two character traits, for being nonviolent, law-abiding, and for being thoroughly honest gentleman. One such witness is Dale Stearns, manager of the Right Spot.
What the?
I can't with this fucking thing.
I'm maybe I heard
Okay.
that wrong. Did
I
you say
guess
the
my
manager of
question
the
is-
place called the Right Spot.
My
Yeah.
question is, what kind of business is this?
It's a restaurant.
What's on the menu?
What are they serving? Yeah.
Duck. I don't know.
Holy fuck.
I don't know.
Donald Duck, Featherman, the Right Spots, and a guy named Rob. Holy shit.
I'm assuming it's like a greasy spoon restaurant kind of place.
Okay.
Where the fuck did Birdman go?
He probably went to go get a drink.
I can still see you. Look at all that.
Yeah,
hunt.
Shane, we can still see you.
Yeah, I can still see your head. Are we waiting on Birdman, or are we just going to continue on like he doesn't exist?
Continue.
Okay.
He can play catch up with the Right Spot when he gets back.
Okay, sounds good. Dale Stearns, the manager of the Right Spot, a restaurant where Martin Hogan worked as a short order cook. Stearns also testifies that Hogan and Cartwright were the best of friends, that Cartwright ate most of his meals at his restaurant, and that he had never heard a hostile word between them. Another witness is the Reverend Dudley Hasteline, pastor of the church Cartwright regularly attended. The minister testifies that Cartwright is highly respected by other parishioners. The defendant's granddaughter, Melissa Masterson, age 14, testifies along the same lines. No one ever heard Cartwright say a hostile word about Marlene or Marty. Donald Duck stands as if to make an announcement. The defense calls Roy Cartwright. So, just in case anybody isn't familiar with criminal law, the defendant does not have to take the stand. They do
No.
not. It's not a forced upon them thing. It's completely voluntary. It cannot be used against them if they do not take the stand.
No.
The defendant walks to the stand slowly, solemnly, shoulders sagging. When the clerk asks him if he swears to tell the truth, he almost shouts, "I do." You can see the scar across the side of his cheek where the bullet went through. Cartwright testifies he is. Oh. Cartwright testifies he is
Oh.
retired from the Navy after 24 years of service as an aviation chief mechanist mate. I don't know what the hell that part means, but he was in the Navy for 24 years. He'd know how to use a rifle. They
Not necessarily.
do use guns, right?
Negative.
Are you fucking?
That's Navy. If he's on a ship, then they're not.
They're seamen.
Jesus.
Let's just interject
That's what they're
that
called. They're
comment
called
into this
seamen.
fucking case.
I know what
They're
they're
called
called,
seamen.
Shane. I didn't want to necessarily say it on.
We're not on
I mean,
TikTok. It's safe.
I know that.
We've got Guy Robb, we've got the right spot, we've got Donald Duck, we've got
Seaman, obviously, apparently.
Seaman now.
Seaman for the right spot.
Fuck, Shane.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take another quick commercial break.
Oh,
'Cause,
you
you
just
guys are
ran
picking-
off. We were just getting going.
Okay, go ahead. Just go ahead. Just freaking go.
Okay.
Tell us about the seaman.
Do
The
you,
one
do
time
you
he
guys
doesn't say roll tide.
do you guys know about Navy?
Yes, we know about seaman. Yes, what?
Shut the fuck up about seamen. Jesus Christ, I'm not going there.
You made her
About
say
rank,
it.
about their rank and shit. Because
Yes.
I don't know anything about the Navy. So he was an aviation chief mechanist mate.
So
No,
he was a mechanic.
He was a mechanic.
Yeah. I mean, so
Okay.
That
chief.
doesn't necessarily mean that
Now,
he ever fired a gun.
I will say this: as far as the ranking goes, like from Army to Marines is for the most part the same
should.
rank until it gets a little bit higher, and they have different names, different all that stuff for that. Same thing between Navy and Air Force. So the ranking terminology is going to be different, but
Yeah, that's
chief,
weird.
you said he was a chief what?
Aviation chief mechanist mate.
Okay. I'm going to assume he was a head of a crew for maintenance. That's what I'm
Okay.
assuming. That's the best I can do. But when it comes to the Navy, unless they are part of an infantry unit or doing something specialized, I don't know how much. Yeah, basically. No, well, the chief part is part of his rank. The other part would be part of his MOS. But like as far as like all that's concerned, I wish my boy Damien was watching right now because he was in the Navy. I don't know how much.
Okay.
I don't know how much they actually spend with rifles
Are you
because
ready?
they're on ships.
Ready for what?
An
probably got the
aviation
rank.
chief mechanic mate in the U.S. Navy refers to a chief petty officer, CPO, ranked soldier with the rating of aviation mechanics mate, meaning they are responsible for the maintenance, repair, and overhaul of aircraft engines and related systems, essentially acting as the highest ranking mechanic on aircraft within their assigned unit.
Okay, so I was pretty much on track.
Yes.
That being said, with that type of job, they're not spending much, if any, time out at a shooting range. They're just not. So even if that was the case, even if he'd been in the Navy, doesn't necessarily mean he's a proficient rifle shooter. So I can pretty much for the most part rule that part out.
Okay. He retired from the Navy after 24 years, divorced his wife of many years, then became acquainted and eventually fell in love with Marlene, 25 years his junior. They started having intimate relationship while she was still married and living with her husband. One day she asked Cartwright to move into the cottage next to the one she shared with her husband. Oh, what the fuck?
What?
She asked him to move in next door?
Oh, she messy. Oh, she,
That's that's
oh, she messy.
gross. That's gross.
That she messy, messy.
Which
I
he
ain't talking
did
about
gladly.
either.
Oh, okay. Well, that takes another turn. After that, whenever her husband beat her up, which was often, she would come over to Cartwright's place with her eyes black and blue and stay with him for a few days, then return to her husband.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So wait. Okay. First of all, definitely not condoning the whole thing of the domestic violence thing. Definitely not. That's not cool. But she would not even go across town, not go visit her mother or friends or family or that. She would go next door,
Mhm. For her
stay there
booty
for a
call.
couple of days,
Mhm.
and then come back.
Mhm.
Like what?
Yeah.
What the?
I,
If okay, listen. If he was using you as a spar partner, but before you left to go over there, what do you think you gonna come back to?
well,
Especially where you at.
well, and what's even better is that the husband, the wife beater, is the one that left her. That's ass. That's just backwards.
Bass backwards.
That was where I was going. Yeah,
I figured it was.
Just so I'm tracking. Just so I'm tracking. So the husband, okay.
the wife beater. Yep.
What's his name again?
It doesn't say.
It doesn't say. Okay. So the husband was the one using her as a boppet. He left her,
Hmm.
not the other way around.
Yep. When
I'm
her
sorry. I'm
husband,
sorry. I said boppet. That probably was definitely not the right term.
dark
I didn't know what
humor.
It
You
fits the topic.
you gotta have dark humor.
Okay.
So when
Wow.
her
This is
husband
about that.
left her, Cartwright asked her to marry him, and she said she couldn't because she was not technically divorced. His grown daughter, Emily, persuaded him to move into her place a few miles away. So she was trying to get some distance between this whole fucked up situation. But
Right?
he and Marlene continue to see each other often.
Oh,
Bop
Lord.
it.
Cartwright says he was in love with Marlene and believed she was in love with him. And it did not make him jealous that she would sometimes saw other younger men,
That she would what?
that she was seeing the other
Oh.
dude, the one that died.
I thought. I'm sorry. I thought you said sell. I didn't say. I didn't. I don't know why I thought you said that. I was like, what? That's why. I'm sorry.
Saw other younger men.
Oh,
But that
saw
makes it sound like there
Hashtag
was
cougar.
more than,
just the one.
yeah.
Yeah.
How many were? You know what? I don't want to know. Never mind.
She was
Scratch
out
that.
there, huh?
Wrong rabbit hole.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Mm,
It's a
I-
loosey goosey
I don't know
rabbit
how many
hole.
times you said that. Anyways, go ahead.
Holy fuck, you said something else.
Bop it.
Okay. Anyway, uh, he believed they would marry when she obtained her divorce from the wife beater that left her. He explains that his best friend was Martin Hogan. A few weeks before the shooting, he brought Marty over to Marlene's cottage and introduced them to each other. He could tell Marlene liked Marty, but that did not bother Roy as he knew she loved him. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. You're older. You should understand. Anyway, he admits that 5 days before the shooting, he bought a Mauser 7mm rifle at Crane's gun shop because he decided to go deer hunting. He put the rifle in the trunk of his car and kept it there. On the morning of July 7th at about 9 a.m., he drove over to Marlene's house with some shirts she had promised to iron for him.
Can I ask you a question real quick? So this is you said like you just said it was July. You said July 7th, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So where was this? Does it say the general location of where this case was?
No, it rarely talks about where.
Okay. See, that's what's kind of messing me up. Okay. All right. Go ahead. Continue.
Um, so he was bringing some shirts over for her to
Now you got me
iron.
taking notes.
He also brought in a bottle of Seagram's whiskey, and they both took a nip from time to time while they talked and she ironed the shirts. Then the phone rang and Marlene answered it. Ryder paces back and forth, Donald Duck bounces back and forth as he continues his direct examination. Donald Duck says, "Do you remember what Marlene said on the phone?" And then Roy responds, "I didn't pay much attention until the very end, and that's when I heard her say, 'Come on over, Roy's here.'" And Duck responds, "Did you know whom she was speaking?" And she said, "After she hung up, she told me it was Marty who called." "Then did he arrive later?" And he said, "Yes, about 15 to 20 minutes later." "Did you and Marty greet each other?" And Roy responds, "Sure, why not?" Are you okay over there?
He's looking for a writing utensil.
What happened? Man, I got some questions, man. I'm gonna ask these questions when we get to the ruling part. I want to make sure that I'm asking the right question.
Hey, Tim, Bama's got something for you.
I got pencil. He's got pen.
Anyway, a Durker stand. Okay,
Uh,
continue.
Roy then says Marlene offered him a drink, but he said he didn't want a drink until he got off of work. Uh, Donald Duck responds, "So what did you three talk about?" And he said, "Well, she talked about this nice apartment that Marty and two other bachelors shared together. She had been over there at a party one night recently, and it was a really nice place, and that she got some of her bills caught up and a little money ahead." Oh, when she got her bills caught up and a little money, she would have a nice place like that. My mind went to a totally different direction, and I can tell by Bama's face his did too.
What?
That's one way to get the bills paid for.
I mean, I guess she was already doing it with everybody else. Why not get paid for it? Um,
We're not promoting that on this show, ma'am.
I'm just reading this story, sir.
I bet you are.
Did the subject of the rifle come into the conversation? Roy said, no, not at first. Donald Duck says, later did it? And he said, well, Marlene was saying how bad her place was to live at. She asked Marty to come over to the window so they could look out and she could show him what a mess it was in the back. And did they go over to the window? Yes. Were they standing close together? Yes. Touching? Almost, yes. And where were you? I was by the front door. So I said, I'll show you the gun I bought. I mean, that's like the squirrel of the century. And she said, oh, okay. And Donald Duck says, did you have the gun there? And he said, no, it was in the trunk of my car. And where were they when you went out to get the gun? They were still looking out the window by the kitchen. Cartwright then testifies how he went out to the car, got the rifle, brought it into the house. It still had the wrapping paper on it, so he stopped at the foot of the bed near the door and was taking the wrapping paper off when it suddenly discharged. Did you say anything before the gun fired? And he said, I think I said, well, here's the gun. Is that all? Yes. Did you mean for the gun to go off? No, I didn't. What happened? Well, it hit Marlene and Marty. He says he stood there for a moment stunned. He looked at them both lying on the floor, and the next thing he remembers is going out to the car with the gun and then going back in to look at them again. He didn't know what to do. He then went back to his car, drove to his daughter's place, and wrote a suicide note to her. He sat on his bed, put the end of the rifle barrel in his mouth with the butt end between his knees, and pulled the trigger with the intent of to kill himself. But somehow the bullet went through his cheek, and he did not die. He was taken to the hospital where doctors treated him, sewed up his cheek, and after a few days released him to the police. Tears filled his eyes when he said he loved Marlene, and Marty was his best friend. He never intended to hurt either one. Up to this point, the prosecutor hardly raised his voice. You may cross examine, that's what the judge says to the DA.
Hold up. I only got one fucking question.
I have a lot of questions. But
Well, I've got a lot of questions, but I mean, as far as what you just read, I've got one question. Have you ever? No, wait. Actually, a couple. The gun was wrapped at the gun shop.
Yes.
I know where you're going, and the answer is no.
Have
They would
you
not.
ever? Let me finish my fucking question before you answer it. Have
No.
you? Fuck you, asshole. Have
Roll
you
Tide.
ever
They would
heard
not
of
load
a
the gun.
gun shop
No.
wrapping a loaded weapon?
No.
They wouldn't load the gun.
No.
They
You
would
can't
not
load a gun.
allow
You
you
can't
to load
load-
a
yeah.
gun in the fucking store. And like,
Absolutely not.
hey, let me wrap that for you.
No.
And they
So-
what?
I
They
mean,
only
with-
sold him one bullet.
Well,
Did he buy a
Whenever
box
I
of
purchased
ammo?
my gun, whenever
he
I
was in the
purchased my gun,
military. He's a good shot.
I
He only
had
needs
to
one bullet.
purchase them separately. I paid for my gun at the gun counter.
Yeah.
And then I had to take my ammo up
Yeah,
to the
but
fucking.
they got the
checkout counter.
receipts
Well, that's I
for the
I-
gun, but they never mentioned ammo. He paid for the gun. That was it.
Maybe he found a 7mm round laying around somewhere, and he's like, well, "I'm gonna go get a gun for this."
That's what I'm thinking. He had some 7mm, and he's like, "Hey,
A
I
lot
need this type of
places
gun
don't allow you to
to
do
match
that.
the bullet."
Very good point.
I want to
Big
know
Bro.
which gun shop
Yeah, they definitely don't.
wraps rifles.
A lot of places won't
Loaded.
let you do
A lot of places will wrap a gun any kind,
Loaded?
not
No.
loaded. No,
Heck no. Heck
Ah,
no.
both you can suck it, sir.
Ooh.
I was proven right too. Sorry.
What happened?
uh,
Wait a minute, ma'am. You can't say something like that and then not point out
I'm
what
getting
you're
ready
talking
to if you shut up.
about.
The DA asks, "Have you ever fired a rifle before that morning?" And Roy responds, "Well, I." And the DA says, "Well, did you?" "Yes. When I joined the Navy, I was on the rifle range at Camp Lewis, Washington. I was just 19 then." So he has fired a rifle.
Everybody
Okay.
fires a rifle in basic. That doesn't mean you fire a rifle every single freaking day.
I never said he did it every freaking day.
No, I'm just saying. I acknowledge what you're saying, but in basic, no matter what branch, no matter where you're at, you're gonna go through basic. You're gonna get basic knowledge of.
I
the
know
rifle
how
and everything like
basic works, Pookie.
that dude, I can obviously tell,
He. Mm.
probably has no real knowledge of rifles or safety.
I don't think this dude has any real knowledge of anything.
I am 100% behind you on that. I'm like, how did he make it to adulthood? Okay, yeah,
should have.
no, yeah,
Continue.
shit. Listen, and I'll say this, because I do appreciate this comment. Like I said, I'll put that up there. Yes, he should have. But once again, I'm gonna tell you something, people. Don't just because somebody said they was in the military doesn't necessarily mean they have more knowledge than you when it comes to gun safety and stuff like that. Because there are plenty of jobs that are within the military. And like Shane, he dealt with tanks, but tanks, drivers and all this stuff, everything like that. Guess what? They have to regularly go to the range
I was
because
infantry too.
at any given moment, at any given time, they have to dismount. They might have to dismount whatever's going on. They got to be able to learn how to do. I was infantry, so I was at the range almost every other freaking week. Okay, so
I was in the infantry too.
I know you were in the infantry, but I know you also drove a tank though,
Bradley.
right? Bradley, yes,
Bradley.
you drove Bradley.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yes, so they are part of the infantry. So that is a little different. Some of these other listen, I got friends that were like were basically they were what we call the S1 shop, so they were human resources. They went to the range, but they did not go to the range like we went to the range. Mechanics don't go to the range like we go to the range. So therefore, that stuff is not just embedded in you, unless you were in an MOS. You know what I'm saying, outside the Marines. Because the one thing I did love about the Marines, no matter what your MOS is, you are first a soldier. Your MOS is second. That's why I've always loved the Marines. Is because they train every single person, no matter what your job is, to be a soldier, because you never know what's going to happen. That's the one thing I love about the Marines when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? I wish every single branch of the military adopted that philosophy. Because I don't know how many times we had to pull people from different MOSs to come with us on patrols. And I feared for everybody's freaking life, because it's like you don't know what you're doing. So therefore, now I'm worried about you on top of worrying about what I'm supposed to be doing for my mission. You know what I'm saying? It was just very stressful. It's just very stressful. But yeah, man, this is crazy. This is crazy. Did we lose Carrie, or did she just okay.
I'm hiding and rolling my eyes at you.
Yeah,
What are you rolling your eyes at?
my first job was on the Bradleys, and then after a little bit, I got made a saw gunner.
Oh, I
So
used
yeah,
to love the saw. I have a very funny story about the saw gun.
Squirrel.
For that, we'll do that later. Go ahead.
Did you just
wow.
moo?
Roll
Ooh,
Tide.
I said
yeah.
squirrel.
Oh, close enough.
But it's funny because
Um,
this moving has something to do with that story. Go ahead.
and he said, and you've not shot a rifle since then. He said no. And then the DA asked, not until you shot and killed Marlene and Marty. And Donald Duck, objection, Your Honor. He never said he shot them. The judge sustained it. And the DA said, did you hear that? Your attorney
Who's
says
the
you
judge?
didn't say you shot them. Did I misunderstand? Didn't you shoot them? And Cartwright responds, well, not, no, well, not really. The DA asks, didn't you shoot and kill them both with your rifle? Donald Duck, objection, Your Honor. The prosecutor won't let Mr. Cartwright finish his sentence. The judge says, sustained. Mr. Cartwright, you may answer. Well, no, I didn't really shoot them, not like you make it sound. It was an accident. The gun just went off. And the DA says, oh, I see. So you had nothing to do with it. He said, well, yes, I had the gun in my hand, but I didn't mean for it to fire. It just went off? Yes. Did you know it was loaded? Well, no, I forgot. Who loaded it?
That's
Who pulled the trigger? Who pulled the trigger? Well, I don't know. It went off.
so. I guess Casper made a visit.
You don't know who pulled the trigger? Well, I don't know how. Did Marlene pull the trigger? No, sir. Did Marty pull the trigger? No, sir. Anyone else in the room? No, sir. I will ask you again, Mr. Cartwright. It's a very simple question. Please listen to my question. Who pulled the trigger? I presume my hand must have done it. Sweet Jesus.
This sounds like a 13-year-old little boy that just discovered himself.
Now
And
we've got the
I
Adams
presume my
family.
hand
My
just
hand did
delighted,
it.
and I
Twist it.
didn't do it. It just my hand just did its own thing. What?
Was your hand on the trigger? I don't know. First of all, your hand can't be on the trigger. But anyway, when is deer hunting season? What? I said, when is deer hunting season? Well, you said you bought the rifle to hunt deer, right? Yes, sir. So I ask you again, when is deer hunting season? Well, I don't know, sir. I mean, come on. You don't
Okay,
know, but
before
I
you
was
finish
gonna
that part,
find out.
wait a minute. So does the DA answer the question when the deer season is?
He says, "Did you know deer hunting season was still 3 months away when you bought the rifle?" He said, "Well, no, but like I say, I was going to find out." God.
You'd think that if you were planning on taking up a hobby, that you would get the information that you need to know about that hobby before you start purchasing stuff to be active in that hobby.
Yeah, I mean, you think.
Yeah, and the thing is, as I'm looking at it right now, rifle season for deer. Now this is, I don't know what you said. What did you say? What year this was again? I'm sorry.
2000,
July 2005, wasn't it?
2005.
yeah,
Okay. So we're in 2024, 2025 season right now. And these dates, I mean, the dates for the most part don't really change. So, but I don't honestly know what it was back in 2005. But right now, what it stands is that youth season is from September 28th, 29th. And this right now is 2024. Archery is from October 1st to January 5th. Firearm, which would be rifles and everything
doesn't
else,
start until Thanksgiving.
November 16th to December 1st. And then muzzle loaders are from December 7th through the 22nd. Like I said, for the
Yeah,
most part, those dates don't really change.
no.
Not for deer, no.
So you said what?
Not for deer, no.
No. So the firearm part is from November to December, November 16th through December
I
1st.
think that isn't it by state too, though?
No,
I mean,
that's
it can
federal.
be, but they still kind of, for the most part, follow the same. They the dates may change as far as like I said, for firearm November 16th to December 1st of 2024. That's for right now for what we've got going on here. Like I said, if I can go to like let's just spitball here. So for Arkansas, and it's just the first one I pulled up. Arkansas muzzleloader is October 19th. It starts to October 19th. Modern gun, which would be rifles and anything like that, November 9th. It's still right around the same time frame. It's like a week earlier from what I said from the firearm for what they have all around the country, which is November 16th. So yes, you're 100% right, Carrie. It definitely can change from state to state, but it's still around the same time. It's still roughly around November. So he bought a gun in July. I'm not getting into the verdict right now, but he bought a gun in July. Um, Jesus, Mary, Mother Joseph. Okay, all right. I'm okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry, ma'am, but I was trying to give a little background as far as that concerned. So go ahead. What time is it?
So the
Wait a minute.
DA says
Wait.
what?
Before we do
What?
that, how much longer do we have till the verdict? We have to render a verdict, roughly
Like 3 pages. If
3
you shut
pages.
up, we could be done in like 10 minutes.
Your mouth, ma'am. You attack me like that.
Depends on how much we squirrel.
We'll speed it up.
Oh, you did not. You did
Let's go.
not.
I did. Let's go.
All
Hurry
right.
up.
So, all right, Mr. Cartwright, I'm going to ask you to step down from the witness stand and come over here in front of the jury box and show this jury just how you were holding the rifle when it went off. I object, Your Honor. Donald Duck says he has called for a demonstration that cannot be conducted under the same circumstances that existed at the time. It is nothing more than a show off question. The DA cuts him off and says, "I resent the accusation that I'm showing off, Your Honor. I made a very reasonable request. He testified he was holding the gun a certain way when it went off. The jury has a right to see precisely how he was holding it. He is the only one that knows, as there are no other witnesses alive." Objection overruled. Roy reluctantly steps down from the witness stand and stands in front of the jury. And you notice the beads of sweat on his forehead. So this man is terrified. He
Mm.
picks up the rifle. Is it loaded? Did anybody check? Because this guy has a tendency to kill things with the rifle.
Yes.
Um,
Well,
Kinda like
except
the
for
movie
himself.
Shooter with Mark Wahlberg.
except for himself, yeah. Okay. As he walks towards the defendant with it, he informs the court that the rifle has been checked for safety by the bailiff. It is not loaded, and the safety lock is on. There
Hopefully,
is
the
no
bailiff wasn't in the Air Force.
right. There's no possibility he could harm anyone. He hands the rifle to the defendant and asks him to take the position he was in when it went off. How far was Marlene from you when the gun went off? Oh, about 10 feet. So 10
And
feet away with a 7 millimeter rifle.
then how far did you say the dimensions of the? You said it was a studio apartment.
hmm
Did it say how
I'm
far
not
the?
scrolling back that far. I'll never find my place.
But did it say though?
It's small. Like you walk in the front door and there's the bed,
Okay,
and then
all
like
right,
the
all right.
kitchen, and then the bedroom. Or the
I,
kitchen and that
I'm
window
sorry.
that was
I'm
shot in front of.
sorry, Pencrest. I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
He
I wouldn't.
was. He was.
I, I'm just okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. Listen, first of all, I love all my military personnel. I don't care what branch you serve. I appreciate every last one of y'all because you know what I'm saying. Only a small percentage of us do that. So I love you guys. That being said, because I did serve, I take pot shots at anybody I want to.
Especially the Coast Guard, pirate puddles, puddle pirates.
Puddle,
Oh shit!
puddle jumpers.
Dang,
My stupid
I wasn't
ass
going
said
there, bro.
pirate puddles. They're puddle pirates.
That's
Jesus.
an inside
That
joke
was
for
a
us, bro.
puddle jumper.
We're not putting that out there.
Oh well. Too
I
late now.
apologize. Go ahead.
Uh, so she was about 10 feet away, and then the DA asked a young woman in the courtroom to come forward. Your Honor, this is one of our secretaries. She happens to be the same height as Marlene. I will ask her to stand at the same distance from the defendant that Marlene was when the gun went off. He places her about 10 feet from Cartwright. He says, is this about how far she was? And Cartwright says, about that, a few inches further. Donald Duck, Your Honor, I object, and the judge overrules it. Cartwright is holding the rifle down around his knees with the barrel pointed upwards. The woman is facing him about 10 feet away. Hold that position, the DA shouts, and he pulls out the object he had concealed before. Now you can see it is a steel tape measure. He puts one end of the tape on the rifle and draws it out to the same angle in which it is pointed until it reaches the place on the woman's chest. He turns to the defense attorney. The DA says, do you stipulate this could be the same spot the bullet entered Marlene's body, counsel? And Donald Duck says, no, I'll take no part in this circus. The judge says the record may show that the tape has been placed approximately at the same point where the evidence shows the bullet entered Miss Ransom's body. Weinstein turns back to the defendant to continue his cross-examination. So the line shown by this tape would have been the line of fire, right, Mr. Cartwright? I guess so. You can see that the line of fire is not at the right angle. Just one moment, please. The DA says he reminds you of a director of a play rehearsal instructing the characters what to do on stage. Now he directs the defendant to hold the rifle at shoulder height the way he would if he was actually aiming it. Ryder's objection again is overruled. Sorry, Donald Duck's objection is overruled. Cartwright does as he's directed, and again, the DA extends his steel tape from the end of the rifle barrel to the female stand in to show how the bullet entered horizontally. Isn't it a fact, Mr. Cartwright, that the way you are holding the rifle now at shoulder height is the way you held it when it fired? Cartwright responds, no, no way, absolutely not. The DA says, and that is your testimony, even though the angle of entry from this position at the right angle to the body is exactly the angle of the entry of the doctor found in his case. Cartwright says the doctor wasn't there. I was there. I know. As God is my witness, I swear I'm not lying. It
Okay,
was an
okay. I'm
accident.
gonna have to stop you. The reason why I gotta stop you, okay? All right. I'm gonna stop you because I need to do something real quick.
Oh no.
What you mean? Hold on. What you saying like that for? We're gonna do something real
Because
quick.
oh no.
All right. Stop saying oh no. The freak is wrong with you, lady? Okay, so the reason why I'm doing this, okay, is because we have something very, very, very special going on today. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are celebrating our co-host Ace his birthday.
Happy
Holy
birthday to
shit.
you. Happy
Happy
birthday to
birthday to
you.
you.
That's right. Join us,
Happy
ladies and gentlemen, as we
birthday,
wish Ace
dear
a very, very happy
brother.
birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Yay!
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would do that. It's ice
We
cream.
want to wish Ace a
Oh,
happy
is it?
birthday.
It's ice
I do
cream
have to make
cake.
that pause real quick because we want to make sure.
It's cake.
Hey.
I was like, it's his cake.
Just one way
Take a
that.
bite. Do it.
Sister go be
That's
mad
your
at me 'cause I
cake.
didn't get a chance to call her. Tim
Yes.
said
So
go.
we want to wish Ace a happy birthday.
Peace.
The old fart.
He's like, whatever.
We're gonna eat peace.
I'm gonna
Okay.
wait till you get in and eat.
So we definitely want to wish Ace a happy birthday real quick.
I am not.
Thank you.
Guys, everybody for out there sharing us with this moment. Happy
You
birthday,
know,
you old
Mom
fart.
did it. Yeah, so.
Love you.
I am too.
Yeah, you are.
I'm gonna send you a cane in the mail.
All right.
A what?
So now that's over.
A strippergram?
Whoa. What?
I heard Graham. Okay, I would.
I heard Candy Graham.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Okay, ma'am.
That went fucking south at 100 fucking degrees.
Listen, we're
A
at the right
cane.
spot with
and
Donald Duck.
stripper game at the same time.
We're all talking at each other. I didn't hear words you just said.
I didn't either.
Don't say south and stripper game at the same time. Okay. Anyways, let's finish this up.
Yes.
I have no idea where the fuck I'm at. Okay.
We lost Bama.
He's probably there's his face. That's the face I was waiting on. The doctor wasn't there. I was there. As God is my witness, I swear I'm not lying. It was an accident. No way did I hold the rifle like this. Finally, Cartwright resumes his seat on the stand as the DA puts the rifle away. He says, "By the way, Mr. Cartwright, this rifle throws out an empty cartridge off to the side every time it's fired, right?" He responds, "That's what I understand, yes. Do you know what happened to the empty casing when you fired the fatal shot?" "Oh, God, no. I was too shocked to notice that. I loved her so." Ugh. I'll show you this empty casing that your daughter said she found in your pocket. Do you have any idea how it got there? Well, what? Well, I guess I must have picked it up. DA says, while your two best friends lay dying in front of you, you had the presence of mind to pick it up. He doesn't answer. He leaves the stand and the defense rests. Verdict time. We have the option of, is they guilty of first-degree murder, second-degree murder, voluntary manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter, or not guilty?
Oh, is there an insanity plea on there?
No.
First
I was,
degree.
I was talking about me. I wasn't even talking about him.
I mean, dude, we're already insane, so I don't.
This is 100% fact.
Does everybody know the different degrees?
First degree because it was premeditated.
First degree is deliberate and premeditated. Second degree is it occurs when the killing is with malice, aforethought, but without deliberation and premeditation. Voluntary manslaughter is intentional killing of a human being without malice or aforethought. And involuntary manslaughter is unlawful killing of a human without the intent to kill when the fatal act involves a high risk of death or bodily harm, but is done without due caution. So those are our options.
Okay.
Oh, and here's diminished mental capacity for you, Tim.
Okay.
There's your insanity.
So that's what they were talking about. That also.
No, that's just for you. The insanity plea.
Okay. Okay. I like that one better. Okay. Bama, let's hear from you. What are your thoughts on the case, and what are you leaning towards?
First degree murder. It was premeditated. None of the stuff he said made sense. He definitely loaded one in the chamber and definitely pulled the trigger on that on purpose.
How long do you think he got?
25 to life.
Okay. I mean, that's mainly standard for premeditated first degree murder. Okay, I get it. 25 to life or death penalty, depending on where it's at. Okay. Angel's saying crime of passion, not guilty. I don't know if it's a crime of passion. Ace, what about you, bro?
Well, the thing of it is there are two victims, so there would be two different charges.
Right.
So I'm going with one count of first degree murder
Mm-hmm.
and one count of second degree murder.
Mm.
Because I'm going to have to agree with Thin on this one. I I'm thinking that he was going for Martin and he either pulled her in front of him like a fucking cowardly bitch, or she jumped in front of him to try to get him to not pull the trigger. So I'm going with one count of first, one count of second.
Okay. I'm loving what Thin Crust is talking about here. Because that was one of the things that was kind of jumping out my mind. Like, you left a brand new gun in your car for 5 days, and you're telling me the only time you pulled it out is when you decided once they were together that, what I'm saying, you'd say, "Oh, you want to see my new gun?"
And he
Um,
never mentioned it before then.
right. So there's that.
And as far as length of time, I'm going 20 to life.
20 to life.
Because with him
Um,
being in his late 50s, I don't see them doing a death penalty, but I do see them giving him life in prison.
yeah. I mean, I can agree with that. Like I said, for me, immediately things that jump out. First of all, just nothing that this dude's saying for defense makes any type of sense, real sense whatsoever.
A whole bunch of his stuff and that doesn't make any sense. I
Yeah.
didn't care that she was fucking around with a bunch of young guys. Who cares? She loved me.
Not if
Yeah.
she's fucking somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, the way it sounded like there was more than a few.
Yeah, exactly. So like I said, there's that. It just none of that makes any sense. Um yeah, yeah. I- none of the defense really just made sense at all. And then when I look at it, we talking about, he said he's buying a rifle for hunting season. Um and but yet and still doesn't know when hunting season is for the animals he's trying to hunt, which is deer.
Mhm.
That's a red flag, a huge red flag right there. And then just I'm saying this fool guilty. I'm kind of along the lines there, with Ace, about the first degree murder, for Martin, second degree murder for whatever the heck her name was. Um, because I think she was more collateral damage than anything. Um, but as I've known and as I've learned, when it comes to these type of cases, it's probably not even going to be remotely what the frick I'm thinking about. But I think he's definitely guilty. I would say 25 to life. Because like Ace, I don't, with him being with age he is, I don't think they would put him on death row, because honestly, I don't think they want to try to hear all these appeals that he's going to probably try to do. But yeah, that's where I'm leaning at right there. So where are we at?
So, I think Thin Crust has read this book because they were spot on. Real life
I'm
jury found the
asking.
defendant guilty of murder in the second degree in the
Oh,
case of both victims. This verdict was a compromise between those jurors who wanted a verdict of murder in the first degree and those who favored the lesser degree of manslaughter. They're not supposed to, but they do it often. The defendant was sentenced to 5 years to life in prison on both counts, served concurrently. So they were served together. His minimum was 5 years.
On 2 counts of murder.
Manslaughter. Or second
Second
second.
degree murder.
degree murder. Yeah.
His minimum was 5. So
Minimum was
how
5.
does it say how much he actually served?
No. You know
Wow,
the
so
book
we
don't
don't know if
go
he's
into
actually
that.
out or not. So we don't know if he's actually out or not.
I mean, he was 55 in 2005 and he was in prison after he shot himself in the face. So I don't think we have to worry about him anymore.
Well, I don't know. I'm just trying to
he'd
make
be
sure if I go
74
hunting, I
right
don't
now.
run into this fool.
Huh?
I'm
So
just
he'd be
making sure if I go
74 right
hunting, I don't have to run into this fool.
Right?
Okay. Y'all were talking the same time. I couldn't hear either of you.
I heard it. I heard every word he fucking said.
Well, I'm glad that you did because I didn't.
I just said I'm just making sure if I go hunting, I don't have to worry about this fool.
No, you won't.
But
I seriously doubt that he's still.
we don't know. Because he's a military man, he might have the survival skills to make it through. Anyways,
He could survive his way out of a damn paper bag.
A wet one at that.
he couldn't even freaking off himself right. Okay, so yeah, this was a fun episode. This is definitely wow. Okay, anyways. Um okay, so Bama, how do you feel about this episode?
Well, I don't believe that I agree with what they gave him. The dude's a bullshitter and a liar.
Dang.
But whatever. Some people get away with shit. Some people don't.
Dang.
Fuck them.
Okay, Mr. Grumpy came out. All right,
Yeah.
let's go.
I know he took his Bama hat off, so maybe that just I don't know what happened. Okay, cool. I mean, it's cool. Cool. Ace, how about yourself?
Oh, you don't have to apologize, Thin Crust.
Oh, heck
We welcome new people coming in, and we
We definitely
appreciate the insight that you gave us. But as far as my take on this case, I agree with Bama as far as 5 years for 2 murders. That's basically a slap on the hand.
Hmm.
But I mean, everything that came out of his fucking mouth was a lie.
Yeah.
He bullshitted his way into that verdict.
Yeah, but
And
he might have honestly genuinely believed it himself with the whole she's sleeping around on me and is still married, but she loves me. He just might be one of those people that can convince himself of anything.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a term for people like that.
Stupid.
We'll go with that. But yeah, I mean, as far as the verdict of second degree murder, I'm all for that. Just the sentencing parts, I don't agree with that.
Well, it was 5 years to life. So
Right,
he
but
could have got
5
out of
years.
it. I know.
He is mandated to serve 5 years, but after 5 years, he has the possibility of parole.
Hmm.
So he can get out on good behavior after 5 years.
Either way, it's ridiculous.
And then he can go on living his life after taking that of 2 others
Mhm.
in 5 years.
That he loved.
Yes.
He loved her.
Honestly, I think that whole circle, that the whole group triangle love thing, it probably need to be wiped off with face earth, anyways.
Well,
Um,
they're almost there.
Hey,
yeah,
Thin Crust, who's your college team?
If that's who I think it is Georgia.
Vandy.
Ruh-roh.
Oh, wait, you think you know who Thin Crust is?
Hmm.
I don't know. But I will say this: introducing a new new segment into the Birdman Show. Our super fan chat goes to this week, first time ever. We're giving that to a thin crust is love. Um, Outstanding. Thank you very much for joining us and freaking being
Georgia.
Georgia. So thank you for definitely joining in and being part of the podcast. You
Put that
too
down before you
out
hurt
there.
yourself. You're going to give yourself carpal tunnel.
What?
I was talking shit to Bama.
You already have carpal tunnel. What are you talking about? And you got
Make it work.
arthritis in your jaw too from talking all that shit.
Probably.
That almost went completely a different way. Anyways,
I was just saying, you better finish that word because all I heard was come
listen,
completely different way.
on both freaking comments. That almost went a completely different way with the corporate tunnel on the jaw lock or with jaw whatever part.
Jaw lock.
I don't know. I was just trying to tune it out. Like, oh, wait a minute. It's like, wait a minute, what happened?
Alabama
Okay,
has more
so,
championships though.
Yeah. That being said,
Stop.
we definitely want to thank you guys for joining the Birdman Show.
Shut up, Ace.
Tonight. Ace, why don't you tell people real quick what you got going on Sunday?
Sunday is trivia with Ace over on TikTok. If you look down there in the bottom left hand corner, that is my screen name. Just go to TikTok, type that in. It's TLB-ACE at 6 p.m. Central Time. We assemble at 6 p.m. Central Time. We usually start around 15-20 after 6, but it's always a good time. And just like this podcast, it's a shit show. You never know what's going to be said or what's going to happen. So if you're not doing anything, come join us.
Ain't that the truth? Also, don't forget about tomorrow night. We will have the Birdman Show recap over on my TikTok profile at Birdman Show. Yeah, just Birdman Show. I was about to get the YouTube freaking channel out. So yeah, over on my TikTok profile is Birdman Show. Did I have a maybe? Possibly, yes. Yeah, Birdman Show on TikTok. It is fun. It's just an extension of the shit show that we do here and even on Ace's Trivia Night. So it's just whatever happens. We just don't really, it's just whatever. Carrie, aka Deathlight, is there anything you want to share with people? Like do you want people following you on Discord?
No.
If you're doing gaming, anything, you want to share that with
I'm
them?
pretty sure half of them in the chat are my gaming friends. So
Yeah, but we're talking about the ones that are going to be viewing this that are not friends with you.
She's good.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Since you didn't want to go with my suggestion, BL.
no. Not gonna happen. Is next week the same thing?
Yes.
Oh, y'all get to see
Yes.
my faces again next week with an even more
Yes.
fucked up case.
Yes. Yes. Because you'll have a full week to prepare for it. But Bam, are
What?
you all right?
Is your Tourette's kicking in
Mini
again, sir?
seizure.
Y'all
It was
get
a
to
mini
see my
seizure.
face next week with an even more fucked up case. That's what I was doing.
Oh, he's making fun of me.
Bam, do you have anything you want to share with people before you get out of here?
Yeah, see y'all tomorrow and much love. Happy birthday, Ace.
Happy
you.
birthday, Ace.
Yes.
Thank
Once
you.
again, happy birthday, Ace. Ace, we want to tell the good people anything
Thank you.
before we get out of here?
50 feels just like 49.
Oh, okay. I was hoping you didn't say 69. So thank you.
Wow. You guys have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow.
I'm just saying, man. When you said that, I was like, oh god. When I just heard So yeah, it is what it is. But definitely I appreciate it. Like I said, definitely appreciate you guys for joining us for this episode of the Birdman Show. We really do appreciate all the support, the love, all the good stuff. Like I said, definitely consider joining us or follow us on our Patreon page. Become a subscriber at patreon.com/the Birdman Show to help us grow our channel, grow what we're doing. And then, like I said, of course, follow us on TikTok, follow us on our YouTube channel. Go hit the subscribe, like the videos, and make sure you hit that notification bell to stay in tune with everything going on with the Birdman Show. We'll be back, like I said, tomorrow night, recap, Sunday, Ace. Next Wednesday, we'll be back with another episode of the Birdman Show featuring You Be the Judge with Carrie, aka Death Light, aka DL. We out. Birdman loves y'all. We love y'all. We out of here.